In a small, misty town nestled deep in the hills, there lived a peculiar clockmaker named Elias Grendel. Elias was known for crafting the most intricate timepieces anyone had ever seen. His shop was filled with clocks of all shapes and sizes, grandfather clocks, pocket watches, and wall clocks. But what truly set Elias apart wasn't just his skill. It was his uncanny ability to repair any broken clock brought to him, no matter how hopeless it seemed. Some said he could even fix time itself. One chilly evening, a young woman named Clara burst through the door. Clara clutched a small, ornate clock that was clearly very old. Its face was cracked, and its hands were frozen at 11:59. "Please," Clara pleaded, her voice trembling. "This belonged to my grandmother. It hasn't worked in decades, but I've heard you can fix anything." Elias took the clock carefully, examining it with a magnifying glass. He frowned. "This is no ordinary clock," he murmured. "It's special." Clara's eyes widened. "Special? How?" Elias didn't answer right away. Instead, he turned the clock over. Elias opened the back panel, revealing a labyrinth of tiny gears and mechanisms. Nestled among them was a glowing, crystal-like object. "This," Elias said, pointing to the crystal, "is a time shard. It's extremely rare. Whoever made this clock wasn't just measuring time, they were storing it." Clara stared at him, confused. "Storing time? What does that mean?" Elias smiled faintly. "It means this clock doesn't just keep time, it controls it. If I repair it, you might be able to visit the past." Clara gasped, longing to meet her grandmother. "Can you fix it?" she asked eagerly. "It won't be easy," Elias warned, "but I'll do my best." For 3 days and nights, Elias worked tirelessly, adjusting the delicate gears and polishing the time shard until it sparkled like a star. Finally, on the 4th day, the clock's hands began to move. "It's ready," Elias said, handing the clock back to Clara. "But be careful. Time is a fragile thing. Don't stay in the past too long, or you may not find your way back." Clara nodded, her heart pounding. She turned the hands of the clock backward, and as they spun, a swirling vortex of light enveloped her. When the light faded, she found herself in a cozy living room. A fire crackled in the hearth, and an older woman sat in a rocking chair, knitting. Clara recognized her instantly from old photographs. It was her grandmother. They talked and laughed for what felt like hours, sharing stories and secrets. But just as Clara began to feel at home, she noticed the clock's hands starting to slow. Elias's warning echoed in her mind. Reluctantly, she said her goodbyes and turned the hands forward. The vortex returned, whisking her back to the present. When Clara opened her eyes, she was back in Elias's shop. The clock in her hands was no longer glowing. It was just an ordinary clock now. Did it work? Elias asked. Clara smiled, tears in her eyes. "It did. Thank you." From that day on, Clara cherished the memories of her brief time with her grandmother, and she never forgot the mysterious clockmaker who made it possible.